I've been working here at the bike rack for about 3 years, and I love bikes, and it looks like you all love bikes too. We bring you guys together tonight to get you involved in what's going on in the city. We've got members of the planning department, the trails, we got Parks and Rec, we've got Thor, which is awesome. If you're a mountain biker, get involved in the trails, they're awesome. We've got groups, organizations, and events. I mean, this is just incredible to see the turnout tonight, so thank you all for joining us. I had no idea what bikes were 3 years ago. I knew they had 2 wheels, and if you pedaled, they went forward. When I got involved in riding with women, I grew up a fellowship of awesome people, and you are all the people tonight, and it's really cool to see you. I want you all to welcome, we have City Council member Chris Jerem here that's supporting our local leader. And we also have running for City Council, Brian Toms. Brian, would you raise your hand for us? Over there. Thank you, Brian, for joining us. You know, it's really, really important to get involved, and if you don't know where to start, grab some flyers, give them your email address. They will make sure you know what's going on in the city. First up, I really want to introduce a good friend of mine. He's active, he's doing a lot for the city to make sure that it's safe for people to ride, and he's going to tell you way better than I can what he's up to. Pell, come on up.
Hey, it's great. The microphone is actually at the right height, and I have to pull it down. Thanks, Katie, for the introduction. My name is Pell Duvall. I'm the Executive Director of Omaha Bikes. We're your local advocacy and education nonprofit. I'll tell you a little bit about what I'm doing overall, and I'm probably going to look at my notes that I write because I have a tendency to keep talking, so I'm going to try to stay on point. When I asked Katie how long she needed me to talk, I said, is it under 30 minutes or over 30 minutes? So I said, I don't need to prepare for that, it'll be fine. So, to tell you a little bit about what Omaha Bikes does, so we started as a blog in 2008. That was before I was involved. Grew up as a program of Live Well Omaha, and then broke off and became our own nonprofit in 2014. And from there, it was a handful of very dedicated volunteers. Some of those people are here tonight. And I couldn't have done this, we wouldn't be here without those people in 9 months. And Dale's talking, but that's okay. So when we start talking about what are the elements of making a bicycle-friendly city, the League of American Bicyclists identifies 6 things. And I'm probably going to look off my list because I always forget one of them, and it's always a different one. So we have education and encouragement. That's where we live as a nonprofit. And we also have equity, enforcement, evaluation, and engineering. So all of those other E's are things that I'm not an expert at, but being involved in stakeholder committees and being involved in all of the things that happen around our city on a daily basis that all of us can't take off our jobs to do, that's where I'm there to be on those committees and or to attend those meetings to be a voice, because the world it's controlled by those who show up, right? So being involved, that's what's important, and being able to tell you, hey, this is something we need to look at, this is something that make our city better, and we aim to make Omaha safer for people on bikes. That's our goal. And eventually, we want Omaha to be a metropolitan area that's known as a premier area for the bicycling public. So if someone says, hey, I'm going to fly to Omaha, I don't need to rent a car. I'm just going to hop on a bike share and go around that old market area. I'm going to go to the zoo. Being able to get around without a car and using bicycles is one of those methods. That's a way to a healthier, happier, safer city. Now, so when I talk about education, that was one of the first things on my list. It's my first priority. Comprehensive education is not a model that's often found around the country. We've done a great job of encouraging people to ride. We've done a great job of educating people on how to ride that want it. Now we're to a point where we have to address people's feeling of safety. And when you say, I would love to ride a bike, but I don't feel safe on the street. It doesn't, I could tell you all the things about how I think it's safe, but if you don't think it is, you're probably not going to go out there. And so we have to start changing people's behavior. We have to change the design of our streets. We have Stephen Osberg of the city is out here. He's our Complete Streets master, and so on the Complete Streets Stakeholder Committee, we talk about designing a street for a purpose, a type. And so being able to design a street for how we want to use it and using it for that. And I'm off topic.
That's okay.
Okay. Comprehensive education. So, what are the classic models? You teach kids how to cross the street, how to safely ride on the sidewalk when they're young, and then you give them a helmet and you want them to be safe. Giving them a helmet without teaching them how to be safe on the streets is just like giving you a car and saying you have airbags. You're fine, right? So, teaching kids how to be safe, that's important. Teaching adults how to ride in traffic, it's not the same as a car. You have to. It's very similar to motorcycle safety, and just a little bit slower speed. Right, Joe? Just a little slower than the Harley. Okay. So, and now what we're looking to add is a bicycle-friendly driver program. So when someone says, "Hey, I see these people on the road on their bike, and I'm afraid I'm going to kill them," and please don't do that. We don't want to die. Is we can teach people how we teach people to ride. If you say, "Okay, well this person is in the lane here for this purpose, and this is why," that's huge for drivers to know why we're there, that we're being predictable, and they can identify us by that predictable behavior. That's hard to say. Instead of profiling and saying, "Oh, this person looks like somebody who's just swerving around and is perhaps chemically altered," they can say, "Here's this person who's riding in the right place in the lane and being safe." So being able to have that symbiotic relationship with different road users and drivers, that's a key element to bring us to the next level of feeling safe on the road. So we're keeping our kids safe, we're keeping ourselves safe on our bikes, and we're also creating a positive environment where we can all exist on the road and on the trail together. And by doing that, we make Omaha safer, we make our city more active, healthier, and we end up with that premier metropolitan area. So with those goals, I hope you can, if you have any questions about what this means or you want to talk to me, it basically, omahbikes.org, it's, any email goes to me, so I'll get it and I'll respond usually. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I'll be here all night. And then also to mention, we do have, we'll be at Earth Day coming up. We'll have our bike to Earth Day bike valet, as well as a Dust Off Your Bike with mechanics from Community Bike Project and Ponderosa Cyclery. They'll take a look at your bike, make sure everything's safe. If it's something super easy, they might even fix it for you because they're nice like that. But if there's something a little more serious, they'll let you know that you need to take your bike in to get fixed. And then we'll also have a kids helmet and education event. So come on down to Earth Day and walk around and have fun. That's all I got, basically. Yay!
So yeah, you have questions about bike safety, OmahaBikes.com has tons of education opportunities for you to get signed up. Next up, as Pell mentioned, we have a Complete Streets plan. And what does that mean? I think I've heard Complete Streets 15 times in the last week, and I think, oh great, more construction? Well, we're going to have some more answers from Stephen Osberg here from the City of Omaha Planning Department.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you. A little taller than Pell now. So yeah, as Katie mentioned, I'm Stephen Osberg from the City of Omaha Planning Department. I work primarily on transportation projects, all types, everything from automobiles to active transportation like biking and walking, or public transportation. But my heart kind of lies with the active transportation side of things. So the City of Omaha obviously does a lot. I don't really have a huge presentation planned for you. I'm just going to run through kind of everything that we're doing, and then you can feel free to ask me questions at the end. You might know that we have the Bike Omaha network. Right now, that's our network of on-street bike facilities. It's made up of bike lanes, currently share the road symbols, and some wayfinding signage. It's also called the 20-mile loops at times. Right now, we're looking to expand that We are going to be adding bike lanes going north on 30th Street from Cummings Street up to Ames, and then on 24th Street from Leavenworth south to L Street. So that's an exciting project that's coming up in about the next 4 years. Yes, all these things are really slow, I know, but there's federal funding tied to those, and that slows us down with those as well. But I also mentioned, and all of you know this, that a lot of our roads have these share the road symbols, or SHAROs, as they're sometimes called. There's a lot of new research out, and it kind of confirms what I'm guessing a lot of you already suspected, that those don't really do anything to improve rider safety at all. They also have been shown to not really help out with getting around. So I think we're starting to move towards phasing those out and replacing the wayfinding, the SHAROs on the road with a system of wayfinding. So we're going to be installing signs like these all along the initial portion of the Bike Omaha network, so all 20 miles of it, plus the additional 8 miles or so of the new bike lanes that I mentioned on 24th and 30th Streets. This will be kind of our new standard as we install new facilities. We'll be having this kind of signage up all over. And it'll kind of, we've been working really closely with Live Well Omaha on this, so thank you, Live Well, for making this happen. Madison, wherever you are out there. And then, but anyway, so I'm excited about this. It'll kind of also point you to destinations along the routes and also destinations just off to the side. And we're looking to have this first phase installed along the whole 20-mile loop, hopefully by the end of 2018, but you'll see some of them this year still. So, way to go there. There you are, Madison. Another thing to keep in mind with that 20-mile loop, you might notice that we now have a connection to Field Club Trail, to the Keystone Trail along the South Omaha Trail. I'm thrilled that that's open now. But once you get to the end of the Field Club Trail on the north side, you're kind of stuck there at Leavenworth, not knowing what to do exactly. You can just hop on the road and try to head downtown, or you can just turn around, pretty much. So that's a missing piece right now in our network, kind of from the Field Club Trail down to the east, where we do have bike lanes, where St. Mary's and Leavenworth come together. So that's something that, again, we've been working with LiveWell on a traffic study there. We're trying to understand conceptually, does it make sense? Can we make that into a 3-lane section of road for the cars? So 1 lane in each direction plus a shared turning lane. And then add bike lanes in both directions there as well to try to make that connection. We're pushing forward as best we can, and we're hoping to have that approved and installed in the next few years as well. And when I mean few, I just mean maybe 3 years or so. And then, as Pell and Katie mentioned, we're working on the Complete Streets policy, or the Complete Streets Design Manual. The Complete Streets policy was passed by City Council, thank you, Councilman Jerem, in September of 2015. That was created with the work of quite a few of you. I think we're on the stakeholder committee. It definitely couldn't have happened without Julie Harris right there from the Nebraska Bicycle Alliance, who pretty much wrote the whole policy, so thank you for doing that. That policy ended up winning an award. It's in the top 10 policies that were approved in 2015 out of 80 or so policies that came through, so that's great. But now we're moving towards implementation of that, which is kind of a whole other beast. That's where the rubber hits the road, so to speak, where the politics come into play. This is where we have to really start understanding trade-offs between different competing needs for streets. We try to think about all the different types of uses that you have on any kind of street, and that might be someone driving a car, riding a bike, sitting outside, eating lunch, walking down the street. I mean, there's any number of uses out there. A lot of people don't even realize streets also serve as a stormwater runoff function. So what we're trying to do, we're in the process right now of developing a design manual that will give us some guidance. It's pretty wonky at times. It really dives into the process of how we design our streets, but it clearly delineates where we need to engage the public. It also helps guide us towards how we might make different trade-offs, because that's what it really comes down to. We have a lot of money we do spend a lot of money on projects every year, and it really is more a matter of how we prioritize that spending than anything else as we determine how the projects look and come out. And that's an area where I think that a lot of you, if you want to, you're here at a bike advocacy event, you know, come out and let us know. When we ask for input from you on how streets should be designed, let us know your thoughts. Tell us that your needs are important. Whether you're wearing your cyclist hat or your walking hat or your driving hat or whatever it is, but, you know, stay engaged there and let us know. Now we do have a public meeting, the final public meeting coming up for the design manual. We'll have a draft of the manual with all the guidelines, all the little things, you know, what's the recommended lane width, everything, the details like that, versus down to like how generally do we start to think about how context influences street design, which is kind of what it's all about. Unfortunately, I don't have a date to give you right now. We're looking at late May. It could be the 24th. It could be the 19th. I don't know. But if you want to shoot me an email, my email's back there, or keep a lookout. Maybe I'll pass on to Katie. If there's an email list for this event, you can pass on when that is as well. As I mentioned, yeah, the bike lanes coming in on 24th and 30th Street, those will also have a series of public meetings, so keep a lookout for those. We'll do our best to advertise those. You know, the Complete Streets policy also guided us to keep better track of data related to biking and walking in the community. And one way that we're doing that is we've installed a bunch of automated bike and pedestrian counters around the city. We installed 2, one at the Bob Perry pedestrian bridge, one on the Field Club Trail. We've got another 7 that we're going to be installing this spring, everywhere from the West Papio Trail, Lake Zorinsky, again back to downtown. Most of those will be on trails, so we're looking to have one of them on an on-street facility, and then we'll have one mobile unit as well to kind of move around. But that should really help us get a better idea of who's using our trails, who's using our bike facilities or our other paths of travel that we have around the city, and we can make better decisions on our infrastructure investments. Many of you have also probably used the bike share system. The Heartland Bike Share is developed for the city. Right now there are 30 stations out there. We just got a federal grant to double the size of the system, so we'll be having another 30 stations installed over the next 2 years. That's pretty exciting. We're also looking to dive into the world of protected bike lanes. Leavenworth could end up being that way. We're going to continue the study that we started earlier on Hardy Street, going from Midtown to downtown, or even Burt Street's been talked about for that. And finally, every year, the city purchases $6,000 worth of bicycle racks that we install all over town. We do that on a request basis, so they're those real simple, black, inverted U-shaped bike racks. If you want one for your business or somewhere where you frequent, let me know. You can go to the city's website, just search in Biking in Omaha. There's a form there that you can fill out as well, or you can just email me straight up or call me or get a hold of me somehow, and we'll try to get you a bike rack. So I'll be back there all night. If you have any questions or any comments on any of this, let me know. And thanks again, Katie, for organizing this.
There are some serious calls to action around here. So get involved with the planning department. Absolutely. You need a bike rack for your business. Who knew that you could just request one, right? You did? Cool. Let's see. Okay, so now going into the safety aspect of this, we've heard a little bit about riding the complete streets, making the city safer to bike, walk, get between businesses without using a car. We also wanted to cover safety tonight. So I've invited the Omaha Police Department, Officer Joel Strominger here, to talk to us about how to walk, how to ride our bikes on the trails, on the streets, at daytime, at nighttime, by following the rules of the road, the laws, basically. So I've often had some questions about what does that mean to be within the legal limits of riding on this vehicle on the road. So we're going to get some answers here tonight. So here's Officer Joel Strominger.
Good evening, my name is Joel Strominger. I've been with the police department since 2005. I took up bicycling when nature took over my body and prevented me from running anymore. After I became an officer, I joined the Omaha Bicycle Patrol with the police department, and we do a lot of special events like Memorial Park, 4th of July concerts, and we have special areas around town that we patrol on bicycles and or horses. So I've come to talk to you a little bit about how you as a cyclist can share the road with motorists, and how you as a motorist can share and be more cognizant of those cyclists that are around you. Something that I found peculiar about city ordinances is that here in Omaha, you're actually supposed to give a signal, an audible warning to a cyclist or somebody on an animal if they're in the roadway. So give your fellow cyclists a courtesy toot from your car as you're approaching them from a distance of about 100 to 300 feet. Not enough to scare them though, please, just so they know you're coming. Also, if you're on traveling in traffic, which I do most of my time, family commitments often have me up and riding before the sun comes up, and I'm done before the sun even reaches the sky. So I do a lot of morning and night riding to get in my miles. And I often find myself riding a lot of surface roads. And Nebraska passed the 3-foot safety zone law a couple of years ago. And so that safety zone should be about an arm's width out from your left side. However, what most people don't know is that a cyclist and a vehicle can't share that same lane without causing a hazard. So state statutes give you permission to occupy an entire lane of traffic or as far left as you deem is appropriate for the conditions. So when you find yourself riding down that two-way street where it's just you and a vehicle, and you feel because the debris, maybe there's a drop-off on the side of the road, or you just know that there is not enough room for you in a car to pass safely in that straight lane, I encourage you to ride as safely to the left as you feel is comfortable for you to make that vehicle merge completely around you into another lane, because that's what ultimately the law was designed for, was to give you adequate safe passing zones. Please remember that as a cyclist, you're subject to all the rules and regulations that cars are. So just because you're on a bike doesn't mean you can Terry stop or just roll through that stop sign or that stoplight. And also, if you're traveling on a sidewalk, you must come to a complete stop and obey every rule that you would as a pedestrian. So when you and your children are out there in your neighborhoods, Hal was talking to me earlier about how we want to make sure that our children, whether there's a stop sign visible or not, make sure that they know to stop and look for traffic and not just to proceed. Make sure that you're using your hands and arm signals as you're traveling. Nebraska has adopted we can point right to turn now, okay? So you can do the left turn and the slow, or you can point right, whatever is more comfortable for you.
You're like, I'm turning, don't worry.
You're not allowed to, as much as you want to, attach yourself to a vehicle. And so at a stoplight, it is not permissible for you to hang on to that pickup truck as you wait for the light to turn green, because you don't want to unclip your pedals, okay? So do everybody the favor and save yourself the ticket and just unclip and wait for the light. Also, if you're traveling at night, you must have a headlight that is visible from at least 500 feet from the front, and you must also have a reflector. If you travel with a light, whether it's a blinking or a solid light, you must also have a reflector to comply with the state statute. So please put on that red reflector in case your battery goes dead. You still have that red reflector in the back to warn motorists of your position. And then a couple of things about cycling safety in general. I highly encourage you to be able to conduct your own maintenance on your bicycle. At a bare minimum, you should know how to change a tire, fix a flat, and put your chain back on. if you can, buy a small tool pack and travel with those necessities. Please always make sure that you know where you can find food, shelter, water, and know your location at all times. Because if you call 911, we can only locate your vicinity to about 25 meters with your GPS on and Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So make sure you know where you're at. If you're on that local trail, even if you don't know the mile marker, know that I am north of Blondo on Keystone Trail. Know that you are on State Street at 144th, just east or west, whatever the circumstance might be. Because if we need to get to you, we want to be able to get to you quickly and not be driving around searching for you. Wear high visibility clothing. I used to love the black and the white because it was either hot in the winter or it was cool in the summer. But I've merged to yellow and oranges and other really high visible colors. I've started riding with my headlight on 24 hours a day and my tail light on 24 hours a day. So although they're heavy and they might kill your KOM, go ahead and do that anyways. Also, some of the new bicycle computers have GPS tracking on them. And even if it's not a bicycle computer, a lot of your smartphones these days can have it so you are live tracked by somebody that knows you or loves you. That way, if an incident happens, you crash, and you're unconscious and there's nobody to find you, your loved one can track you either through your Garmin or your Strava or through your Nokia or your Samsung or your iPhone. So enable those GPS tracking devices, not to stalk each other, but just so in case something happens, we know how to find you. And then last thing, please let somebody know where you're going and when you expect to be home. That way, if you're not back in time, they know to send out that SOS for you. I will be over here to answer any questions for you. I brought with me a little brochure of the city ordinances and state statutes that I feel apply mostly to cycling. I want to thank everybody for coming tonight and see you on the streets.
Thank you, officer. I had absolutely no idea that Share My Location could be used as a rescue device when I'm riding. That's great information. Also, if you need reflective gear, if you need headlights and tail lights, we have all of that in the shop. So grab some of that before you leave. We have headlights and tail lights that are visible from over 1.5 miles away. 500 feet, great. 1.5 miles, awesome. So, if you're out riding the highways and things like that, absolutely be lit up. Let's see, shameless plug. I teach a women's maintenance class here at the Bike Rack. If you join our Facebook group, Bike Rack Ladies, you'll get all the information on the things that we're doing when we're riding and all that stuff. Good group of girls. There's a few of them here. Let's see, service classes, we have a free maintenance class, the first and third Thursday of the month at 6. So if you need to learn how to change your tire, or lube your chain, or just put it back on, right back there with our awesome guys in the service department. Also, if you're really interested in making a change, get involved with the Nebraska Bicycling Alliance. Julie Harris has done some amazing work. Yay, Julie! Yes. All you have to do is give $5 a month to join the organization and help create laws just like the 3-foot passing law, which Julie helped implement with lots of support from the cycling community. Let's see, what else? There's still beer, and I don't know if there's chips, but have fun. Thanks.
know that you were